Once upon a time, health wasn't science, it was storytelling. People believed what sounded wise, not what was proven. In the early 1900s, a doctor's smile could sell poison, and a white coat was enough to silence doubt. They told mothers to feed their children sugar to gain energy, told men to smoke to relax their nerves, and told women that fainting meant femininity. The world trusted authority, not evidence. Cigarettes, cocaine tonics, mercury drops, all sold as miracles in glass bottles. The tragedy wasn't ignorance. It was faith misplaced in science that hadn't yet grown up. If you lived back then, you wouldn't have questioned it either. Because when everyone around you believed something was safe, questioning it made you look insane. The story of healthy smoking is one of history's darkest jokes. By the 1940s, the world was covered in cigarette smoke, from classrooms to airplanes. Doctors appeared in advertisements saying, "Camels keep your throat healthy." Some even prescribed cigarettes to relieve anxiety. Magazines showed surgeons lighting up during breaks, saying it helps steady the hand. What they didn't show were lungs turning black, arteries hardening, and generations slowly dying. People trusted doctors more than common sense. The companies knew the truth, but hid it under mountains of money. By the time the public learned the damage, it was too late. Addiction had become culture. Asterisk. But tobacco wasn't the only deadly lie. In the 1900s, people swallowed tapeworm eggs willingly, believing it was the ultimate weight loss secret. Eat what you want, lose fat effortlessly, the ads promised. They sold the idea that beauty was worth sharing your body with a parasite. Women would buy tiny vials labeled sanitized tapeworms and swallow them at home. Most never realized the worms could grow up to 30 feet long, feeding on their organs until it was too late. Some died before doctors even discovered why. The idea that a creature could live inside you, eating your health away while you smiled for the mirror, feels like a metaphor for every bad health trend that came after. Asterisk. Then came the age of radiation. After Marie Curie's discovery, people were hypnotized by the word radium. They thought it was life energy itself. Companies began selling glowing toothpaste, beauty creams, and tonics called radioactive, marketed as eternal vitality. Wealthy men and women drank it daily. One famous industrialist, Eben Myers, became its poster boy until his body began decaying from within. His jaw fell apart. His bones literally glowed in the dark. The newspapers called it death by progress. But even then, society didn't blame the sellers. They blamed him for drinking too much. Blind faith in science is often deadlier than ignorance. As the obsession with miracles grew, medicine took a darker turn inside the human brain. In the 1940s and 50s, lobotomies were hailed as cures for anxiety, depression, even misbehavior. Surgeons inserted metal rods to patients' eye sockets to calm their emotions. Families brought their children willingly. They believed doctors were saving them. What they didn't see was that lobotomized patients returned home empty, emotionless, detached, and broken. The man behind it, Dr. Walter Freeman, toured America performing thousands of operations, calling himself a healer of minds. But history now calls him something else, a butcher with a license. Not all poisons were surgical, some came in elegant bottles. The Victorian era was obsessed with beauty and refinement, but their medicine cabinets were full of death. Mercury tonics for energy, arsenic for pale skin, cocaine cough syrup for children. Mothers dosed babies with heroin syrups to stop crying. Advertisements showed smiling infants beside bottles of poison. Even Coca-Cola began as a cocaine-based drink. Everyone believed it worked, and in a way, it did. It numbed, soothed, and slowly destroyed. People wanted comfort more than truth. And comfort is the most seductive form of poison. But maybe the scariest part of bad health advice isn't the medicine itself, it's the mindset. Every generation believes it's smarter than the last. People today laugh at radium water or heroin syrup, but look closer. We chase detox teas, miracle supplements, and extreme diets with the same blind faith. The platforms have changed, but the psychology hasn't. The influencer replaces the doctor, and the algorithm replaces the medical board. We don't call it faith anymore, we call it wellness. And that makes it even harder to detect the danger. The human mind craves shortcuts. We don't want slow truth. We want quick hope. That's why health fads survive every century. From bloodletting to juice cleansing, every generation repeats the same story. Pain disguised as cure. In medieval times, doctors drained blood to balance the body. They killed millions doing it, but it felt right because tradition said so. Now, we detox with juices and fasts that do nothing for our livers, but everything for marketing. History doesn't repeat itself. People do. There's a cruel irony in how we define health. In the 1800s, being fat meant wealth and strength. In the 1920s, pale skin meant purity. In the 2000s, it was all about fitness. Today, it's about gym bodies and greens. Health has never been about biology. It's been about fashion. Society turns survival into a trend, and the human body becomes a battlefield of ideals. Every era mocks the one before it, thinking it's smarter, cleaner, safer. But every era bleeds the same way. The truth is, humans have always mistaken belief for biology. We follow what feels right, not what is right. Doctors once laughed at the idea of washing hands before surgery. Hundreds of women died giving birth because of it. They said the man who discovered germs, Ignaz Semmelweis, was insane. He died in an asylum, punished for being correct too soon. That's the real curse of health history. Wisdom always arrives covered in the blood of those who were ignored. It's tempting to think we're beyond all that. That with modern science, we've escaped ignorance. But we haven't. We live in a time when half the internet believes health myths more than medicine. From anti-vaccine movements to miracle diets, we're drowning in misinformation. The tools are smarter, but the fear is the same. Fear of aging. Fear of pain. Fear of death. Every bad health trend is born from those three fears. The names change, the lies evolve, but the hunger for control remains the same. So what do we do? Maybe the only real protection is humility, accepting that we still know very little. Real health isn't shiny or glamorous. It doesn't come in bottles or filters. It's sleep, water, balance, time, all the boring things no one can sell you. But boring doesn't trend. And in a world ruled by attention, truth loses every time. That's why history keeps punishing us for the same mistake. Because we keep choosing what sounds beautiful over what's true. When we laugh at people from the past, the smokers, the radium drinkers, the tapeworm believers, we're laughing at ourselves in slow motion. Because one day, the future will laugh at us too. They'll wonder how we lived with microplastics in our blood, sugar in everything, and screens in our faces. And still called it healthy. The most dangerous medicine isn't poison. It's certainty. The belief that we finally know better. History whispers one warning again and again. The moment you stop questioning health advice, you become the experiment. As the obsession with miracles grew, medicine took a darker turn inside the human brain. In the 1940s and 50s, lobotomies were hailed as cures for anxiety, depression, even misbehavior. Surgeons inserted metal rods through patients' eye sockets to calm their emotions. Families brought their children willingly. They believed doctors were saving them. What they didn't see was that lobotomized patients return home empty, emotionless, detached, and broken. The man behind it, Dr. Walter Freeman, toured America performing thousands of operations, calling himself a healer of minds. But history now calls him something else: a butcher with a license.